On second thought, maybe Russell Westbrook is a swell guy, writes all of the bloggers who are calling him West Brick. The Rams, well, did they really F up by effing them picks? Think a second time about that. And who's going to replace Dorian Thompson-Robinson at UCLA? I have a couple of thoughts on the matter. Good morning, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. It is December 16th, 2022. I want to thank you guys for sticking with me while I am broadcasting from Ice Station Beta up in Anchorage, Alaska for another day. If you like the content that we put out, quickly clack the like button, quickly clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And yeah, comment. What else am I going to do up here, right? Now, before we go through the news and notes, quick look at the scoreboard. Yesterday, Terrence Mann led the Clippers with 22 points, but Kawhi Leonard and Paul George did not play, and that mattered. Phoenix 111, Clippers 95. Finally, Trevor Morris scores a game-winning goal in a shootout. Immediate dividends for the LA Kings. We'll get to why in a few minutes. Kings 3, Boston 2 in a shootout. Meanwhile, Denver will play the Lakers at 7 o'clock tonight. It's a tall order for the Lakes. The Nuggets are the third best team in the Western Conference. So, is Russell Westbrook now too valuable to trade? Who'd have thunk that, right? I mean, for an entire calendar year, there have been bloggers, there have been pundits, there have been priests lighting candles, basically saying, hey, please get this demon from hell out of the purple and gold. All of them in unison. Now, I'm not going to sit there and lie to you. There were times where I'm like, dude, you got to step it up. You got to do something, right? But this year, particularly off the bench, he's been enough to where the same people are now saying the Lakers don't want to trade Russell Westbrook and that they shouldn't be trading Russell Westbrook. Look, literally just in the last week, I took a look at Google. The Lakers were linked up to trading Russell Westbrook to Houston, Washington, Indiana, Charlotte, the New York Knicks, Chicago, Miami, Orlando, Utah, and Detroit. That's how remarkably irresponsible so many people who are covering the Lakers, whether it be as a legit professional or somebody who has a private blog and works at a falafel hut. That's how crazy the rumors have been. Whether it's professional or not, they've all been in unison. Complete lockstep. Nobody with an original thought. So here's the reasoning that they're all saying that the Lakers are unlikely to trade him. One, he's become way too valuable. It's a sixth man. And if you notice the Laker bench, they're actually a pretty offensive group. Most benches are there to provide D. The Lakers actually try to catch up on points when they go to Westbrook and his folks. Two, teams continue to insist that the Lakers add first-round picks in a deal, including the Russell Westbrook's expiring contract. But three, and this is where the cart separates from the horse for me. This is where I think the rumor mongers are absolutely wrong all over again. LA is apparently leaning towards packaging Kendrick Nunn and Patrick Beverley, not for a superstar, but for a strong complementary player. They don't need a third player that's as good as Anthony Davis and LeBron James. They want somebody that they can rely on to put up 18 to 20 points a night. Here's my problem with that. Why would anybody send LA a good player for Kendrick Nunn and Patrick Beverley? They're looking to get rid of Kendrick Nunn for any price for anything they can get. And Patrick Beverley, while good, if it doesn't add up to a third pretty good player. Maybe if you include the draft pick, maybe you can make it pencil it out. but there's no reason any other club in the NBA is going to help the Lakers when all they're going to get back is Kendrick Nunn and Patrick Beverley. Food for thought. So, for the LA Rams, they're going to be playing in Green Bay on Monday Night Football, where it will reach a high of 14 degrees and a low of 3 degrees. And the LA press is like, whoa, this is extreme. You don't say. They're saying it's probably going to be 11 degrees at kickoff. Guys, I just looked up online. It's 11 degrees where I am right now, and I have to go out in that too. So I don't exactly have a lot of empathy for the Rams. Now, statistically speaking, I will say that they have never played in weather this cold during the Sean McVay era. The last time the Rams played in weather as cold as where I am right now is back in 1992. They're playing Green Bay on Monday. That game in 1992, also at Lambeau Field. They wound up losing that game, by the way. In 2021, by the way, the Rams sent a third-round pick, 2 first-round picks, and Jared Goff to Detroit for Matthew Stafford. In retrospect, I would imagine a lot of fans are like, wait a second, Jared Goff is kind of balling right now. Was this trade really necessary? Well, let's take a quick peek. The third-round pick is a safety who has only played 6 snaps this year. 6 snaps. The first-round pick that was used this year was packaged with another pick to go get a wide receiver who jacked up his knee and missed a big chunk of the season. The other pick, the final first-round pick, that's coming in the upcoming draft. So Jared Goff is playing well. So would you make that trip, that trade, for a Super Bowl win? Hell yes, you would. I realize that, Jerry Seinfeld used to come out have this bit about how you go out to a restaurant and you just gorge yourself, and at the end, somebody comes up to you with a piece of paper with a price tag on it, and you're like, we're not hungry now. Who ordered all this food? That is exactly what I see when I hear people complaining about the Matthew Stafford trade. You get rid of Jared Goff, 2 players who really aren't contributing a whole hell of a lot, and an unknown player of the future for a Super Bowl title. Who would not make that trade? Who wouldn't? I'd make that trade all over again. And by the way, the same people who are sitting there going, oh no, the Rams lost Von Miller in the offseason. Von Miller is on injured reserve. He is literally done for the year. You're not going, even if the Buffalo Bills go on to win the Super Bowl, you are not going to see an interview with Von Miller saying, yeah, man, I played in the Super Bowl 2 consecutive years. He's not going to the playoffs. He's not going to help the Bills win the title. The Bills are going to have to do it without Von Miller. Finally, for the Rams, Jalen Ramsey admits that he has not played up to his standards this year. He said he only grades himself with 2 letters, either A or F. And he says he's very hard on himself. He has not been giving himself A's. So when he gave up a game-winning touchdown 2 weeks ago to DK Metcalf, he did not shake it off. There's a belief that if you're going to play cornerback or defensive back, you have to have a short memory. Jalen Ramsey is not one of those guys. So if you're getting a little sour on Ramsey, know this. The Rams coaching staff, they don't feel that way at all. Said defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, most of the time, he's put in the most dangerous spot. I give him the hard down the majority of the time, unquote. Raheem Morris can't say enough good things about Jalen Ramsey. Just something to keep in mind the next time that you see him get toasted by, say, Travis Kelce or a Metcalf. There is no reason to think that the UCLA Bruins will have a good recruiting class. There's no reason to believe that in the slightest. But the early signing period begins Wednesday, and there is a decent chance that the Bruins are going to land, or could land, the number 3 prospect in the country, quarterback Dante Moore. Moore previously committed to Oregon, but he was seen touring Westwood's campus last weekend, leading to rampant speculation. And I realize he's a high school kid, so I don't want to sit there and say that I know the inner workings of a high school kid. That is first of all, if I say I know high school kids, you can pretty much put me on the Megan's Law website and cart me off to jail. But aside from that, it's a few decades from high school for me. I'm not going to say that I know what high school kids think. Moore previously committed to the University of Oregon, but Bo Nix is coming back to play quarterback, so he's not going to be in the running to start it under center next year. Oregon is losing its offensive coordinator. That guy took the head coaching job over at Arizona State. And Dorian Thompson-Robinson's college career is over with. So Moore's presented with a choice. He could go to Oregon with a brand new offensive scheme that he knows nothing about and not be able to play as a freshman, or he would have a legit shot of running a growing national power in Southern California immediately and go up against Caleb Williams and play in the Big Ten. So there's reason for optimism, at least tempered optimism with the Bruins. Also, I'd recommend keeping an eye on a quarterback named Colin Schlee in the transfer portal. I read a couple of stories that mentioned him, legit news sources, by the way, who mentioned him. From Kent State, the guy threw for 13 touchdowns and only threw 5 interceptions last year. So he's pretty competent under center. Also, over at USC, quarterback Caleb Williams has repeated his confidence that he will be playing in the Cotton Bowl on January 2nd. Now, the Dodgers acquired a couple of players yesterday. Yesterday, for example, they grabbed an infielder named Yanni Hernandez from Oakland for cash, and they have to stock the soda machine for 3 years. Yes, that's a Moneyball callback if you've ever seen the movie. Hernandez, honestly, not a needle mover. He only played 12 games for Arizona last season. He's a speed guy. Left-handed pitcher Adam Kolarek signed a minor league deal. He pitched in LA both in 2019 and 2020. We've been harping on this as a theme, whether I'm up in Anchorage or at home with my wife, with my glorious wife and her blouse of abundance. I created a dry erase board that had all the names that the Dodgers were allegedly linked to. Oh my God, they were going to break the bank for this player. That list became 27 names long. It is now down to 14. 13 players off the list. The Dodgers did not go for a single player on that list. So, yeah, not exactly Christmas in the offseason if you're a Dodgers fan. We mentioned earlier that Trevor Moore won the game last night for the Kings in their final game of a road trip. They had agreed to the guy who's on a contract extension with the guy who scored the game-winning goal. Trevor Moore agreed to a 5-year extension. He is originally acquired from Toronto back in 2020. He is known for 2 things. One, for being a solid two-way player, and second, for being the mayor of Thousand Oaks. Thousand Oaks, hockey hotbed. Who knew? Finally, for the Chargers, safety Derwin James missed Sunday Night Football in Miami, but he also has not practiced this week. This is the remnants of the quadricep injury that the guy suffered a couple of weeks ago. Derwin James did not miss a single snap going into the Miami game, and now, all things being equal, this is putting his status in serious jeopardy when the Chargers play Tennessee on Sunday. But we still have a couple of days away to go to find out there. So you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Has Russell Westbrook and his agreeability and his production off the bench changed your mind about his role with the Lakers? Do you think the Rams are tough enough to play in the snow? Let me know about anything that you think is going on in Los Angeles right now in terms of sports. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports here every day. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.